Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I never imagined my daughter's small figure dragging a suitcase down the sidewalk, her cheeks wet with tears, her knees wobbling under the weight. The world seemed too big, too cruel, for a 7-year-old carrying the burden of rejection. Clara, my neighbor and closest friend, was the one who saved her. She told me later how she had been trimming her roses when she saw Nellie stumble past, clutching a bag nearly half her size. "Nellie," she had called out, hurrying to her. "Where are you going, sweetheart?" They said I don't belong," Nellie whispered, her voice trembling. "Grandma and Uncle Brandon. They said I need to make room for the real baby." Clara's heart nearly broke right there. She scooped her into her arms, ignoring the thorns scratching her wrist, and carried her inside. By the time I arrived, racing after Clara's urgent call, Nellie sat in her kitchen with a glass of milk, her eyes swollen and red, her small body hunched as if waiting for more punishment. When she saw me, she flinched before recognition softened her face. My knees nearly buckled. I fell to the floor beside her chair and took her hands. "Nellie, my love, what happened? Who told you such a terrible thing?" She blinked up at me, tears spilling fresh. "Grandma said, and Uncle Brandon. They don't want me anymore. They said the new baby needs my room." Her lip quivered and her voice cracked. "Mom, am I not real?" The question tore something inside me that may never heal. I pulled her into my arms, pressing her against my chest, rocking her the way I had when she first came home. "You are real. You are mine," I whispered fiercely, choking on my own tears. "Nothing and no one will take you from me, ever." Clara turned away, dabbing at her eyes, giving us a moment. But inside me, fury rose like fire. My parents, my own flesh and blood, had humiliated and abandoned my daughter. Brandon, the golden boy who had stolen my childhood affection, had dared to wound her too. That day, I packed our things in Cooper and I moved out of my parents' house into a rented apartment. As I carried Nellie home that evening, her head on my shoulder, I swore an oath. This betrayal would not be forgiven. My family had broken her heart once. They would never get another chance. That night, long after Nellie had fallen asleep with her small fist curled under her cheek, I sat in the dim glow of the kitchen lamp. The silence pressed in, broken only by the ticking clock and the occasional sniffle I failed to suppress. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, standing on the sidewalk with that suitcase, her shoulders hunched like she carried the whole world's rejection. And suddenly, I was no longer just her mother. I was that little girl again, the one my family had always overlooked. I remembered birthdays where Brandon's gifts towered high while mine were wrapped hastily in plain paper. Report cards where my straight A's were brushed aside with, "Well, of course you did, Sophia, but Brandon, he's talented." Their words still echoed in my head, bitter and sharp. Why was I never enough? I whispered into the empty room, my chest tightened, tears spilling hot down my cheeks. Cooper came in quietly, his hand resting on my shoulder. "Soph," he said gently, "don't let them break you again. They did it to you. Now they're trying to do it to her." I looked at him, my voice shaking. "She asked me if she was real, Cooper. Our little girl, she thinks she doesn't count." His jaw clenched. "Then we'll make her know she counts. Every day, more than anyone else." For a moment, I buried my face against him, letting the sobs tear out of me. The unfairness of it all. Decades of favoritism, of being second best, of now seeing my child suffer the same wounds, was unbearable. But as I pulled away, something hardened inside me. The tears dried, replaced by a cold, steady flame. "They won't win this time," I whispered. "Not with Nellie. I won't let history repeat itself." The shadows of my childhood had caught up to me. But this time, I wasn't that powerless little girl anymore. 3 days later, Cooper and I walked into my parents' house, hearts pounding with unspoken rage. The air smelled of cinnamon cookies, my mother's attempt at normalcy, but it couldn't mask the poison lingering in the walls. Brandon was sprawled across the sofa, scrolling his phone, smirking as though he'd already won. My father sat stiff in his armchair, eyes cold, while my mother busied herself with the teapot, avoiding my gaze. I didn't sit down. "You told my daughter to leave this house," I said, my voice shaking but firm. Brandon leaned back, folding his arms. Children need boundaries, Sophia. She's not blood. She has to understand her place once the real baby comes. The words hit like knives. My throat tightened, tears burning my eyes. Her place? I repeated, my voice trembling. Her place is with me. She is my child. My mother sighed, waving a hand. Oh, Sophia, you're overreacting. Pregnancy makes you so sensitive. Sensitive. My voice broke, louder now. She walked down the street with a suitcase because you made her feel unwanted. She asked me if she was even real. For a moment, silence. Cooper stepped forward, his jaw set. If you think for 1 second we'll let you treat Nellie as less, you're mistaken. She's ours. And she's staying ours. My father finally spoke, his tone flat. Sophia, you're letting emotions cloud your judgment. Brandon didn't mean harm. I shook my head, tears falling freely now. No, he meant every word, and so did you. I took Cooper's hand, my chest heaving. You've lost us. Nellie, me, this baby, we're gone. You won't hurt us again. Brandon scoffed, but I didn't look back. As we walked out, my mother called after me, but her voice was hollow, powerless. That night, we packed our things, left the city lights behind, and drove toward a new life. Nellie slept in the back seat, her little face finally at peace. For the first time, I felt free, and more determined than ever to protect her. 6 months later, our small rented house pulsed with laughter and balloons. I had given birth to a beautiful baby girl, and tonight was her celebration. Friends filled the rooms with warmth, and Nellie glowed with pride, introducing herself to everyone as the big sister. For the first time in years, my heart felt whole. I had left the family chat long ago, cutting every poisonous string. But just as I carried the cake out, the doorbell rang. I froze when I saw them, my parents, Brandon and his wife, smiling too wide, arms full of gifts. Surprise, my mother sang, as if we were actors in her little play. Gasps whispered among the guests. My pulse thundered, but I forced a polite nod. You weren't invited. Oh, Sophia, my father said smoothly, we're family. We couldn't miss our granddaughter's party. Their presence spread unease like smoke. Guests exchanged glances. Nellie clutched my hand tighter, shrinking behind me. For a while, I tried to focus on the joy. But then, as Nellie proudly showed the baby a rattle, Brandon chuckled, his voice loud enough to slice the room. She's not even your real sister, you know. One day you'll understand. The words froze time. Nellie's smile fell, her lip quivering. The guests stared, some with open horror. Brandon. I snapped, my voice shaking. How dare you, here in front of my children? He smirked. I'm just telling the truth. I looked around, faces of friends, witnesses, allies, all watching. My mother stammered, he didn't mean it. Yes, he did. My tears spilled as my voice rose. This is who they are. Cruel, poisonous, unworthy of being called family. Cooper stepped forward, pointing at the door. Leave. Now. The silence was deafening as they shuffled out, my mother still trying to smile, my father's eyes dark with shame, Brandon muttering under his breath. When the door shut, applause broke out. Guests embraced Nellie, whispering she was real, she was loved. And I cried, tears of rage, of relief, of finality. The mask had shattered at last. Weeks passed since the party, and with each sunrise the air in our home grew lighter. As if the walls themselves were relieved, the shadows had gone. Nellie laughed more freely now, no longer glancing over her shoulder, no longer waiting for the sting of cruel words. One evening, as I tucked her into bed, she whispered, Mom, am I really your daughter? Tears filled my eyes, but my voice was steady. Not only are you my daughter, you saved me. Without you, I might never have found the courage to break free. She smiled, small but certain, and wrapped her arms around my neck. Then I'm glad you chose me. Downstairs, Cooper rocked the baby, humming softly. I watched them, and for the first time I felt no ache from the past, only gratitude for the life we had built together. We had lost the illusion of family but gained something stronger. Truth, loyalty, and love without conditions. As I closed the window that night, the stars seemed nearer than ever. The old ties had broken, but in their place, a new life had begun. One I would protect fiercely forever.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.